fire release, wind release, and lightning release. What if Naruto had employed a training regimen that consisted of these three chakra natures throughout his training period with Jiraiya, and by doing so, creating a Keke Tota, being a line of jutsu combining these three nature releases, somewhat mimicking that of the Tsuchikage's particle style, and possibly making him just as famous. So, without further ado, what if Naruto had Blaze release? Not to be confused with the Uchiha's Black Flame, nor Scorch. So, with that out of the way, roll that intro. Sasuke would frantically look around and even start rubbing his eyes as the bright light creates quite a sting. But even as his vision clears up, the sting does not subside. This is because his eyes are changing. They're burning. He sees more than ever. It feels like his Sharingan has progressed tenfold. And as he finally looks back to the group he was with, he would see Naruto. And along with Naruto, he would see parts of him he had never before. He could identify both Naruto and the Nine-Tails chakra, and on top of that, he could feel the sheer presence of Naruto being different. And Naruto, realizing Sasuke had finally awoken, would turn to his friend and witness the strange pattern in his eyes. He would immediately bring this up to Sasuke, and Sasuke would rush over to a puddle of water, where he would see his Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto would find his footing as he would walk over to his old friend, saying that if he's done here, they should get back to the Leaf. He heard that there's a mission for them, with him having a massive smile on his face. Obviously, this just being, I guess, a form of recollection. He's trying to spark some nostalgia in Sasuke. And Sasuke, who is still a little surprised that Naruto is all the way out here, would put his hand out so that he could be pulled up by his old friend. And as he is, they would end up in a brother-like embrace, prepared to continue the life that had stopped or practically halted about 3 years prior. And with this, they would take a look up and down at each other and see the immense amount of change that both of them had gone through. Obviously, both of them could see that the other had been through a lot. Sasuke could see that Naruto had changed, matured, and even became way stronger than he had been prior. And Naruto would acknowledge that Sasuke had turned into a near different person. And at this point, if he returns to the Leaf, it would be more returning to normal and just adapting his spot back, as he had seemed to have embraced the dark more than one would expect. And as they take a step away from each other, instead of exchanging the normal insult between brothers, they would actually try their best at complimenting each other, with Sasuke saying that Naruto isn't as weak anymore, and Naruto replying with Sasuke isn't as lonely anymore, as both of them would face Team Taka, who don't really have a place in the shinobi world. And Sasuke would look back at Naruto, as Naruto would merely lift his shoulders, not really knowing what to reply in this sec. With Sasuke even wondering, what about Team Taka now? Like, what use would they be? With Soigetsu actually being the first to speak up, saying, "Wherever Sasuke goes, we go," as he would swing the executioner's blade onto his shoulder. Instead of asking questions, Naruto would merely accept that Soigetsu had taken the blade. He would not even question anything about Soigetsu being a part of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, or even having practically grave robbed Zabuza. And instead they would make their way to the Leaf, with Naruto getting to know Team Taka more. Obviously, the one to exchange the least amount of words would probably be Jugo, and Naruto and Karin actually getting off to a good start, as they have a lot to talk about, being cousins and all. Maybe not directly, but by extent. So, as the journey to Konoha continues, the group bonds in a weird sort of way, with Soigetsu even revealing that he's not that bad of a guy. He only seems like a douche at face value, and he actually cares about all of his friends. and for the most part would happily spend a few years in some Konoha prison to be accepted into their ranks. Naruto would laugh as he would say that Granny Tsunade would probably let him join regardless, seeing as how he took good care of Sasuke and all, while winking. This would give the group a laugh, and he would even explain that he had been keeping Sasuke's seat on Team 7 warm. On top of that, he would also reveal that Karin and Jugo would obviously be welcome, as Karin is an Uzumaki, meaning she should just be able to fall back into the ranks of the Land of Fire, and Jugo, not technically belonging to any land, should be able to join without much hassle. Sasuke would then interrupt, saying that he doesn't think Jugo is suited for shinobi life. At first, Jugo would want to say something, but would rather not. Naruto, seeing this, would prompt him to instead say what's on his mind, and he would reveal that as long as Sasuke is a shinobi, so is he, because he can't just leave his friends in the dust and let them die off on their own. So as the group lets off one last laugh, the background fades to dark as we fast forward their journey to Konoha.
And back in Konoha, things have progressed just as one might have thought. Pain had led siege to the village, and with Naruto's absence, there is no one to defend the Leaf from his overwhelming power, meaning he would be back on his destruction. He would be able to destroy the entirety of the Leaf, and even injuring and possibly comatizing the Hokage. This leaves very few individuals, including civilians and shinobi, left to push back against Pain, as his siege was both unpredicted and unstoppable. This time, those who originally had hope in Naruto returning from Mount Miyaboku to eventually save them with an all-new power, they don't have that, as Naruto didn't set off, and they weren't even aware of Pain or his arrival, meaning that inevitably they might give up. But that doesn't mean they should. They still know Naruto's out there, and to these people, they have hope, as they've never seen someone as powerful as Naruto. And if push comes to shove, the Green Beast is on his way to Konoha. The 8 gates might kill him, but it would save the rest of the village. This is their final hopes, as we see what had happened to the group of Team Taka and Naruto. On their way back to Konoha, they would be stopped by a mysterious cloaked figure with a bright orange mask. The man who had a low, crispy voice would stop the group with the words, "If it isn't the 9 tails and the last Uchiha," as he would progress into a diabolical laugh. But this person seems all too familiar to both Naruto and Sasuke. They can't necessarily put their tongue on it, but they realize that they've probably encountered this man before, and his presence just feels so familiar. But along feeling familiar, it feels like the strongest person they've ever encountered. They would both quickly get on guard, along with the rest of Team Taka, and with them all taking their battle stances, the man would proceed to speak. He would look at Sasuke saying, "Now that you've killed Itachi, you're getting quite cocky, boy. You already seem to have forgotten what had happened to both you and your brother. If you want, I could tell you something about both your brother and the Leaf, and the doings of our clan." And as he says the word clan, through his mask, or at least the only visible opening in his mask, we would see a glowing red eye, as his Sharingan would be unveiled. This would reveal to us a man who claims to be Madara Uchiha. At first, both Naruto and Sasuke would lead an assault at the man, which practically none of their attacks hit. After he quote-unquote gets bored, he would travel via a weird swirl, as he would appear behind them. He would say that since they had attacked him, he assumes that they don't want to know, but he'll tell them in anyways. Itachi was forced to kill the Uchiha clan, not by his own choice, but of command from the Leaf Village elders and Danzo. He would then disappear into a swirl, with Sasuke falling to his knees. He would realize what had just been told to him, the origins of the massacre, what had caused it, and why Itachi had truly broken the love he had truly shared between his family. This makes it also clear. Sasuke's eyes would start changing, and the plot of dirt he would be looking at would set ablaze with a black flame. He would stand up, prepared to take his vengeance once again. But with his stance and a glance at Naruto, Naruto would fall to the ground. At first Sasuke would step back, as he had felt something is wrong. And with that thought comes truth. Naruto's stomach would start rumbling to a visible point, when a crow would come bursting out of his mouth. At first everyone would be shocked, as this is a rather odd occurrence, and obviously some idiots in the background like Soigetsu and Kurin would think that Naruto had possibly swallowed a live animal. But no, as it leaves, they would all see this giant Sharingan pattern, one that none of them had ever witnessed before. It had looked like a squared kunai. And as it comes to fruition and starts spinning in their sight, Sasuke would fall to the ground. His eyes change back to normal. The blood on his face dried up. He can't quite understand it. A mere moment ago, he had hated Konoha with every bit of his being. But now, he understands. The only ones that deserve to pay are those who committed the action. Danzo and the elders will pay for killing off the Leaf's greatest weapon and possibly their greatest defense. And he alone, along with his friends, would stand to protect Konoha's next generation. But with that out of the way, this part of What If Naruto Had Blaze release will come to an end. Yes, I know there was practically no fighting and no big changes, but we did reveal what the plot for the next part would be. And talking about the next part, that one will go over the entirety of the Pain arc and its aftermath, as we would get into the fight with Pain and Sasuke's interaction with the elders and Danzo, as it would be drastically different. But on the other hand, those who are paying attention would have noticed for the last 3 weeks I had not uploaded a single video, and I had actually returned. This is because I went into some sort of what if burnout, I guess, and I came back all refreshed. And in fact, next month will be a daily upload month, as I would try to upload every single day, with weekends even having movie specials if possible. So if you have truly enjoyed this video and are looking forward to that, make sure to smash like and subscribe, and possibly even become a member like all these beautiful people on screen. Each of these give me some financial stability while I make these videos for you, as yes, it is a form of creative outlet, but that extra few bucks does really help. So if you want to support this channel and help it sustain itself, maybe go check out the individual perks that these people get in the members tab. So without further ado, this has been your boy Six. Peace.